want her to go ahead, put on a show like that, and don't worry about the consequences.
Do you feel like your team has an ability to respond better than it did either earlier in the season or even last year?
Yeah.
And where does that come from?
Maybe just growing up a little bit. There's just more places we can go to get buckets. So that's a little bit of a comfort level that it doesn't have to come from the same place all the time. Yeah, Paige got 40 today, but Hazy could get 40 Monday night, or Sarah could get 40 Monday night. Last year we didn't have the ability to spread it out as much as we do now. So there's this confidence that we've acquired over the course of the season, that going at Notre Dame and playing that game, down at Tennessee and playing that game, going to South Carolina and playing that game, all those things, add them all up, and they contribute to this feeling of there isn't anything really that we're going to see that we haven't seen, and we know how to handle it. Now, whether we handle it or not, that remains to be seen, but at least that's the feeling.
There was a moment in the fourth quarter, Paige hit, I think it was her second three in the second trip down, but 38 points, and you smiled. As Paige about, you did. And Paige said it's because you drew up a play and they executed it perfectly.
Oh, geez, I know. That's like an act of God, I think. We had something planned. We had a play drawn up, and right before we left the bench, I said, "Nah, I don't like that. We're going to do this," and we did it exactly right. And Paige got a layup, and renewed my faith in my team that they actually can do something that I asked them to do, and that was fun. That was the best part of the game.
What did you do so well against Beers to slow her down and force her to?
I think the biggest thing is, we try to mix it up and not be the same thing all the time, So we got Jenna and her banging around in there, then Ice a little bit differently, and then Sarah even a little bit differently than that. You know that if they want to go to her every time, there's nothing we can do about it. So we were kind of going back and forth. Are we okay giving up some threes to help on her, or are we okay not helping on her and giving up some threes? So we kind of went back and forth with that. But all of it was just effort on the guard's part, and I thought the referees were great. Sometimes, they kind of don't let you do some of the things you want to do, but I thought they let both teams just play, so it all has to come together like that.
Paige always leaves it out on the floor, but do you feel like she's this is as her last college act, she's really unlocking another gear and really leaving it all out there?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, there's really nothing to save it for now, right? So I think Paige has had enough adversity and letdowns during her time at UConn that there's only one thing left to do, and that's just play. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. People put so much emphasis on, Paige winning a national championship, and Paige isn't going to win a national championship. Paige is going to hopefully help UConn win a national championship. That's the plan. That's the goal, But I think sometimes there's and I know this is what freshmen do. Freshmen and sophomores do. I got plenty of chances to do this. So if we lose in the Final Four in my first 2 years, not a problem. We're coming back here 2 more years. Like it's preordained, right? But when you get to be a senior and you've had the success that Paige has had, it does dawn on you, I'm out of chances. This is it, which actually is even harder to do what she did today, knowing that. So players like Paige they're wired different than other kids.
Did you switch things up a little bit in the second half after the second quarter there defensively? I know 12 went off, so 13 points.
Yeah. I came in the locker room at halftime, and I thought long and hard, and I came up with a strategy, and I said, we should guard number 12. we should put a hand up and guard number 12. Paige, she stuck one right in your face, and you didn't have your hand up. Maybe you think you're the only good player in America, but there's other guys that can make shots too. So it was just, I think we got a little bit lazy, a little bit distracted, and it happens when you're not making shots. You know, when you're making shots, you're pumped up, you know, you're fired up, let's blow them out, you know, let's shut them out. You know, you're missing shots, it's like, ugh. And then, you know, you just make a couple mistakes. And so, yeah, the second half, we concentrated really, really, really hard on Peyton. She's a really good shooter. I mean, she's just a really good player.
I don't think she scored for a while.
She didn't score in the second half?
She did, but not for a while.
Yeah. And, you know, we knew she was going to try to get inside. That, to me, was one of the key points in the game. We knew that they were going to try to bully us in the lane because our guards are small. Like, you know, you take Caitlin Chen into the lane. Like, you know, I look over, you take KK in the lane. Who's she going to guard in there? You know, or Ash, you know. So we knew that was going to be a big part of their game plan. And I thought we handled it great. I thought we fought it. We battled down there. We, you know. So, yeah, it was, our team defense was fantastic. It really was.
A few players talked about at halftime, Paige, you know, she didn't yell or scream at the team, but there was that, you could hear the urgency in her voice about, like, this is it. Like, I don't want to lose on this or leave on this note. How was that message just received, do you think? And I guess, is that a proper way of describing what the scene was like in the locker room at halftime?
I think the gist of it is, I think players today aren't comfortable expressing anger in the locker room. They're not capable as much as, let's say, players in the past, for whatever reason, to point the finger at somebody. So it's like, this is what you get a lot of time. Come on, Blue. We got to box out. Well, nobody on our team's named Blue. Whereas there's a few of my players that are here, that former players that were watching the game, they would not say, come on, Blue, we got to box out. They would tell you, hey, you, and it would get fixed. Today, I think it's more not want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't think Paige is any different than most kids. She's going to say, this is what we have to do, and she, I think, takes ownership of it and says, I got to start it. I can't necessarily wait for other people to do it. I have to do it. So what she does, no matter how she says it, just gives the other players confidence. All right, Paige is locked in, so let's get locked in. Basically, that's all it comes down to. You know, you can't have your best player come in the locker room and start, you know, hey, you suck at this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, and you didn't do that. Meanwhile, coach just got pissed at you because you made 3 defensive mistakes that gave up 9 points. So it's a fine line when you're a leader to call out people, because you have to make sure that you're not the guilty party. But even if you are, you have to take ownership first. Hey, listen, guys, I screwed this up, but we got this in the second half. And I think good leaders, you know, they know how to lead. And Paige leads by example most of the time. It's fun. It's fun to watch. I didn't know she had 40 until I got in the locker room and saw the stat sheet. Seriously, I didn't know it was 40.
She outscored Oklahoma in the second half.
What's that?
She outscored Oklahoma in the second half.
Did she?
19 straight in the fourth.
She scored 19 straight?
She had more to open the fourth quarter than anyone else had in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one had more than 19.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
She was good.